Hi and welcome back. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Now in my last video I showed you how to make some blast craters. Two different types. I seriously prefer the Pringle lid with a little bit of modification from Filamix. But if you haven't checked that out, go back and check that out. The video before that I showed you how to make hills. Now with the hills and the polystyrene blast craters, they're the same concept. Now when you do them you have bits left over. So when you bevel the edges, you have bits like this, okay? Don't keep them, that's rubbish. Get rid of that, okay? But when you're cutting them from the board, you end up with bits like this, okay? Just weird shapes like this. Do not throw this away. What you want to do is get yourself a box. I've got just a random box. It could be a washing powder box, a plastic washing tablet box, an old biscuit box, a shoe box, whatever. Just keep all of these pieces together in there. I mean, I've got a random assortment of bits, even bits like that where I cut off. Yeah, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you what you can do with those, okay? So sit back and enjoy. And right, so here we have it. What I've done is I've got a piece of board that was an off-cut piece with a board. I've cut just 3 random shapes, yeah, and I've beveled the edges, gave it a sand down, as I've shown you before. If you don't know, then check out the previous video and I'll show you that. So what I do now is, I just look in this box for random bits, and I'm going to work on is a square piece, okay? So I just start dry fitting pieces randomly. Now pieces like this, yeah, with a flat edge, they're good for making little artificial walls. So go with something like that, yeah. See what it'll turn around. I can't tip it because it'll all slide off. And that's okay. There we go. What I'm going to do with this is, if I get the mop of it, I'm going to turn this into a ruins piece, like a ruined building or just a pile of rubble. The other way to do these things is if you get something like this. Okay, this is I think it's like a washing machine. I think it was over. When you buy white goods appliances, you end up with bits of polystyrene on top and bottom televisions and stuff like that. So these pieces are always handy. But when you're using these pieces, like this piece here, you could cut it from across the top and keep these pieces as is and use them as the side of a building. But what I'm going to do with this, because I don't want all of this, I just want a piece of this, and I've got another piece of this anyway, so I'm just going to just break off random bits. Just breaking off random bits. Now, these bits are too big for the boards I've already cut. But, because I'm doing this in front of the camera to give you an idea what you can do with it, I'm not going to use these pieces on here. I'm just going to do this piece today. I've got a few other like this that I've already started and nearly finished. And they've been sitting there for weeks and weeks and weeks. I've been doing a little bit here, a little bit there, in between videos. So I'm going to go off camera and hot glue this down, and then I'm going to show you the other bits that I've been working on and just show you a few basic embellishments that I've done to it and stuff like that, and talk to you about just what you can do to it and how you know what we're about over here. So I'll be back to you in a second, guys. Right, welcome back, guys. That piece is hot glued. I Filamixed it and it's just sitting there drying. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say Filamix, I'm just talking about a bit of filler and a bit of water to seal the joins and everything else. If you want, I'm not going to show you here now, but I've done it previously in previous videos. So what this is another piece that I was working on before. So you end up with something like this, okay? Now all I've done here is, I don't know if you can pick up on the camera, but I've embellished this with a couple of foam bricks we've done the stone wall build. Let's cut more foam bricks this side, and I've done a little wall in front, okay? Let me pick that up too well. Now, what I've done is undercut the whole thing black. burnt umber on that's my go-to colour for dirt. I actually love that, especially with a little still using dry brush. It's perfect. Now, I was using this colour before to do the grey stonework. This is a neutral grey. I've run out of this. The shop I get this from has none in stock because of COVID and everything else. So I went with this colour. This is a painter's grey. Okay, same company, but just a different shade of grey. Now, when I put this one on, it comes out like this. So it's not black. I don't think you can pick that up too well on the camera. It's not black, but it's not grey. It's sort of in between. However, with a little bit of Space Wolves grey. Now, I know Games Workshop doesn't sell Space Wolves grey anymore, but they sell a colour of the equivalent. This is the effect that you get. Again, I don't know if the camera's picking up too well, but I'll give you some pretty pictures afterwards. It looks absolutely amazing. It looks more like concrete than actual stonework. So before, when I was doing concrete, I would do the filler mix and everything. I would then undercut the whole thing black. I would then paint it a grey, which would be this grey. I would then dry brush black, and then use some Phasian camo shade just to weather it down and make it look dirty. And with the black dry brush, it would come up really well and look really nice. But this looks better. Two simple colours. This grey as a base coat and a quick dry brush. I'm going to dry brush this little piece now to show you. I'm just going to give it a dry brush with the Space Wolves. Again, if you're new to all this and you don't know what dry brushing is, look how much paint I've got on the brush. I'm then going to brush it all off to a bit of loose paper. So I've only got bare minimum. Okay. Now on the camera, I'm looking at it on the camera and it looks like there's loads, but there's not. There's only a bare minimum. So all I'm going to do is just flick it over the top. So all the raised areas get hit. And when you first start doing this, you go, oh no, what have I done? Listen, don't worry. Because you're only using a little bit of brush, a little bit of paint on a brush, it will dull itself down and just look absolutely amazing. Go back to some more. Now people say to me, oh John, you don't paint models. I do paint models. My level of painting is depending on what I'm painting. If I'm painting Chaos Warriors, superb. Demons, superb. Give me people of the Empire or High Elves or Dark Elves, or I'm not that great. Just the skin tone that really messes me up. But terrain, I absolutely love. I love making terrain. I love painting it. And the whole reason I started doing these videos, I was making terrain and selling it. But with COVID and everything, no one can come to the workshop. So I said to myself, well, I sit in here most of the time, talk to myself. So why not just join the community of terrain makers and just show everyone what I can do? Because I always think outside the box when it comes to terrain. What can I make that's crazy and out there? And I've got some really crazy ideas. But I come up with a crazy idea. I then try and simple it down as much as I can. Not because people are stupid, just because if it's simple, anyone can do it. And if it's simple and made out of cheap materials but looks fantastic, then we're all winning, because we're all wargamers. We want more models for our armies. We want terrain. Now the thing with terrain is you have your terrain, you play a game. What ends up happening is your terrain is put in the same place again and again and again, and the games get boring because it's the same models in the same areas, the same pieces of terrain. So if you're able to mix the terrain up, I'm going for Steel Legion Dragon now to dry brush the base. If you're able to mix up your terrain pieces and use different pieces in different games, not only can you refresh the game and make the game more of a challenge and everything else, and more enjoyable to play, but you can also do your scenarios and, you know, campaigns and stuff. So if you wanted to play a game where it's just say a battered moon, the last video where we done blast craters, there we go. You can just make loads of them and just be absolutely terrain, loads of it. If you wanted to play a ruined cityscape, this is what we're making right now. It's perfect for that. If you want to make like hills and cliffs and stuff like that, I'll cover cliffs and hills. Oh, I've done hills, but I'll cover cliffs and mountainous terrain, shall we call it, in another video. Because the best way for me to make that, oh, you can make that with the polystyrene. You can, don't get me wrong, you can, or you can use, I think in Republic of Ireland it's called Kingspan. It's like a foam for insulation. Everyone else calls it SPF and stuff like that, but you can use that sort of stuff. But the way that I do it, the material is a lot cheaper and you can make a lot more. And it's just the simplest thing. There's the only time you're cutting it is when you're actually sculpting it. And people, oh, what's he talking about? Over on my crafting table, I still have a lot of stuff there from the material that I used last time. And I will be trying to, I've been trying to over the last couple of months, trying to work through that. Because as you might have known by this video, I'm a bit of a hoarder when it comes to bits and pieces, because I can see it and I can see its potential. Now, but we'll get into that. I'm going to try and get through that so I can show you that a video on that material and show you the work that can be done on it. And from that one material, you can make so much terrain. Anyway, here we go. I've dry brushed the base, done the stonework. Now that stonework, I mean, I can see it on the camera. It's not that great on the video, but when I go to the pretty picture, I'll be able to hold the camera and have a better up close and personal picture. Now, with the bigger piece, it's the same thing as what I've done, hot gluing it, and these are all scrap pieces, okay? All scrap pieces. Obviously, the bits of foam and the brickwork, yeah, they're just the bits left over from making the stone wall. This is so simple. Now, you have a squad of Marines in there, or, you know, this is in your deployment zone, so you put a tank in there. I don't think you'll get a tank in there, but if you was able to, it adds so much dynamic to all your games. And I love playing war games. And unfortunately, I was actually 16 years old when I actually come across Games Workshop. I wish I was younger when I would. But anyway, thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope this has helped you. It's a quick one. I know I've waffled on a little bit because I always tend to waffle on. But just follow the simple steps that I've shown you. You can make some nice pieces of terrain, especially if half cut pieces that normally you'd throw away. You're saving money, you got more models. If you're saving money, you're getting more paint, you're getting, you know, more bits and pieces that you need. So I'm going to wrap this up there because I'm waffling on again. I'm going to show you some pretty pictures of these. And until next time, guys. And here we are, guys. Yeah, so simple to make, nice and easy. This is the one I just dry brushed in front of the camera. Look at that effect. That's amazing. Such an amazing effect. Look, there's the bigger one. This bigger one isn't finished, but it's not far from being finished. I'm thinking of a little bit of flock here and there. Yeah, here's other bits of rubble that I've made. Some rubble with some tank traps. You know, there's a ruined building, and that's the ruined building because it's just the ruins. It's made from the same concept of this. Just use bigger pieces. Also got this bad boy here. This one has a bit of flock on it. Yeah, and it's the same concept. This piece here is just a flat piece, and where I'd cut out the heel either side, I said, oh, okay, I'll just put it upright and there's half a building left. Well, not half a building, but a fraction of a building. There's another piece. Again, this is done with bigger pieces and just piled them up on top of each other. And then this monstrosity. Now this monstrosity here was actually one piece. And then I added bits of polystyrene to it. This piece at the side here was a square that I just messed up and just, okay. And there's a nice little piece at the back there. Yeah, so I hope you like this video, guys. If you have, please hit the like, share, subscribe, and please turn on those notifications. It really helps me out. If anyone has any comments, chuck them below. I'll read every comment that I get. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.